Most people are going about healing from body focused repetitive behaviors in the wrong way. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what the wrong way is that's keeping you stuck. And then let me share with you what the right way is that helped me to heal from 15 years of chronic skin picking and what I see creates the biggest change in my clients. If you want more support in healing from chronic skin picking and hair pulling, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and the notification bell, and make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments. My name is Rafaela Marie. I'm your host, and this is the Beyond Skin Picking and Hair Pulling podcast, a space where we dive into the holistic and science-based path to healing from body-focused repetitive behaviors. Like you heard just before, I struggled with chronic skin picking for 15 years, and I've dedicated the past 5 years of my life to helping people like you to heal just as I did. I've come from a very dark place of depression, selective mutism, chronic social anxiety, self-doubt, and crippling ADHD to where I am now. If I can heal like that, so can you. So let's get into this episode. Here's what most people are doing wrong when it comes to healing from body-focused repetitive behaviors. It sounds like this. If I can just get rid of chronic skin picking, then I can feel better about myself. I can release shame, feel more confident, and everything will get better. If I can just get rid of this one aspect about me. The problem with this system is that, firstly, it doesn't work. And it doesn't work because it relies on willpower. It relies on grit. It relies on force and rigidity. It demands perfection. It doesn't leave much room for mistakes or to be imperfect or to be human. It doesn't allow you to embrace all of who you are, including the parts that you see are less than perfect. And so what does that fuel? More shame, more self-judgment, more self-criticism, more of a feeling of being stuck, of not being good enough. And then there's a loss of trust in ourselves because we keep trying so hard to change, and yet we keep on failing and ending up right back where we were. The turning point for me in my healing journey really encompasses what I am sharing with you right now. I would love to tell you exactly when this happened, but I have pretty bad time blindness, so I would have to first ask my husband, when did we go to this place? What year? He'd be able to tell me. So it was a while ago, I think around 2020. I'm not sure. Okay, I totally threw myself off right there because now I'm trying to think, okay, what was I doing in 2020? When was 2020? Anywho, this was a while ago. Before I started all this work here with you, with this podcast, with posting on social media, I had a moment, like you've probably had as well, where I felt this immense motivation and desire and this conviction that I was done with picking at my skin. I was done with chronic skin picking. And I felt it. I felt that feeling of just empowerment and confidence and so much certainty in myself. And we were 2 weeks away from going on holidays to this beautiful little town in Engadine, which is in one of my favorite regions of Switzerland. It's this beautiful little town with cobblestone roads, little stone houses with artworks on them, and just blanketed in snow and surrounded by mountains. It was gorgeous. And 2 weeks before that holiday, I thought, it's it. That's it. I'm done. I'm done with this. And then 2 weeks later, in the first week of our holiday, I relapsed hard. It hurt so much. And I didn't understand. In that moment, I thought, why? We are in this beautiful place. I'm so happy to be here. Why have I done this? And in that moment, I just felt so confused, thinking, I can't trust myself. I can't trust myself to even control my own behavior, to follow through on not doing things that I know are not good for me. It was crushing. I felt so much shame and confusion and frustration and heaviness and feeling lost and stuck and ugh. But then in that moment, and this is key right here, this is what changed everything for me. It was almost like I was at the bottom of a lake and I didn't know which way was up, which way was down. I didn't know which way the surface was. But then I caught a few bubbles of air floating towards the surface. And those bubbles that caught my attention, that shone light on me in this moment of despair, were curiosity. Those bubbles contained curiosity because I was asking myself, why in self-judgment and criticism. But then something small shifted and it turned into true curiosity of, no, really, why? I don't get it. What's going on here? And in that curiosity, I got a reprieve from the shame, from the heaviness, from the frustration. And as I started to truly contemplate it, shifting away from just beating myself up, I really started to contemplate what is actually going on here. I don't understand. And through genuine curiosity, I found my answer. I realized that chronic skin picking was my way to soothe anxiety. And I was experiencing chronic anxiety that I was only just really becoming aware of. And so 2 weeks before that, I stopped skin picking, my main tool to help with anxiety, but I didn't start doing anything to help myself manage the anxiety better. I was just avoiding it. I was avoiding the mirror. I was avoiding myself. I was avoiding feeling anything. And of course, at some point, I'm going to snap. At some point, you are going to snap because you cannot contain all that emotion and that energy inside you. You need to release it. And if we don't have the skills, if we don't know how to do that in a healthy way, then we are going to default to behaviors that we know allow us to let off that steam. That default behavior for you and I is skin picking or hair pulling or nail biting. And in that realization, I was able to access understanding. Through that curiosity, I suddenly understood why I was in that space. And through that, I was able to access compassion of course, I was going to relapse. What was I expecting? What could I have possibly expected from myself? Without knowing it, I had ankle tapped myself, fallen flat on my face, and then I was shoving my face into the mud and saying, why can't you stand up? Why won't you get up? When I'm the one pushing myself down. No wonder I relapsed. No wonder I picked my skin because I needed it. I didn't have the skills back then to actually navigate anxiety. I didn't have the skills to truly process emotion on a deeper level, to connect with myself on a deeper level. I wasn't experienced in connecting with my body. I'm not even sure at that time if I had really started to consciously do that. And that's how I released that shame in that moment. And I didn't feel suddenly amazing. I didn't feel happy that I picked my skin. I didn't feel happy that I was in the place that I was in, but I felt compassion and understanding and a gentleness towards myself that I had never experienced before. And from that day forward, curiosity has been something that I've practiced over and over and over again. And through practicing that, every single time I would release a little bit more shame. I would gain a little more compassion and a little more understanding of myself until today, where I don't carry that shame anymore. Self-compassion and love and kindness and gentleness and understanding had replaced it. As a result of releasing that shame, skin picking became less of a problem. It became less self-destructive. It took up less of my time, less and less and less of my time. I felt more able to control it, less dominated by this behavior. And this is truly what set me free from chronic skin picking. And it wasn't in one big bang. It was many little moments of accessing curiosity amidst shame and self-judgment and self-criticism. And this is the right way to heal from chronic skin picking or hair pulling or nail biting. It's not stop skin picking so that I don't have to feel shame, so that everything can be okay. It is release shame so that you can feel better about yourself. And when you feel better about yourself, then you will start to heal and grow. And skin picking or hair pulling or nail biting will start to feel more manageable and less scary and less out of control. You'll feel more empowered, more sure of yourself. You'll have more confidence and self-esteem. You'll be more grounded. And your inner world, how you talk to yourself, how you think, is going to be a place of comfort rather than criticism. Your internal world will become a place that you don't feel like you need to get a break from, that you don't need to escape from it because your inner world has become a source of comfort for you. It's become your home. And here's how you can access curiosity so that you can release shame. When you fall into a picking, pulling, or biting session and you feel frustrated at yourself, you feel self-critical, you feel shame, you feel that heaviness, that icky stuckness, Ask yourself these questions. What do I need right now? What is this moment trying to teach me? Is there anything I'm avoiding in my life right now? Anything I'm avoiding doing or saying, conversations I'm not having that I know I need to have, boundaries I'm not setting that my heart is telling me I need to set? And where am I putting too much pressure on myself? I'm going to write those questions down and leave them in the description so that you can go ahead and copy them and save them in your phone or write them down somewhere so that you can have access to them. You don't have to ask yourself every single one of these questions whenever you pick. Just see which one stands out to you in that moment, which one calls to you. And maybe you'll come up with some questions of your own. The whole point of these questions is to spark curiosity. Because when we get curious, we start to find a path forward. And it might not be what you expected it to be, but if we don't get curious, we'll never see that. And if we're only thinking with our head and being logical, we'll miss the truth of what we actually need. This is something that came up in my free support group on Instagram, which you are more than welcome to join. It's called Home. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll find it in my bio. But what this person shared is that they logically understand that they don't actually need skin picking. They understand where it comes from. They understand why they do it, and they don't actually need it. And so they were coming up against this wall of criticism and shame and frustration at themselves for continuing to engage in a behavior that they logically get is not going to help them in the long term. And I just want you to know, if you are coming from this very, very logical space, I want you to know that your feelings do not give a shit about your logic. And these behaviors are purely emotion driven. And if you keep falling back into this behavior, despite all your efforts, and you are judging yourself and criticizing yourself for it, you are engaging in this behavior because you still need it. Your emotions do not give a shit about your logic. They want you to meet them with where you're at, to really sit with them and see them and experience them and stop judging them. And the way to do that is to get curious. And I promise you, when you focus on this, and I know it's hard because we really just want to get rid of this behavior so that we can feel better. But again, that system does not work. If it worked, you wouldn't be listening to this. You wouldn't be looking for support. You wouldn't be looking for answers because you wouldn't be struggling with it anymore. We need to do this differently. And so whenever you feel that self-criticism, that shame come up, practice getting curious. This is something that I still do today. I promise you, this is the path. This is the step that will create so much change in your life. And if you want more help with that, I have a gentle 7-day challenge that you'll find in the show notes where I walk you through the step-by-step process to doing this. So if you are feeling drawn to this, but you feel like you maybe need a bit more help, then go join that challenge. What you'll learn inside that is truly beautiful and life-changing. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you did enjoy this, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and the notification bell, and leave your comments down below, or leave a 5-star review if you are on iTunes or Spotify. Your support is so appreciated. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Tuesday for the next episode of Beyond Skin Picking and Hair Pulling.